Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiana, or Gracefully Kiana. And today I'm just coming to do my February wrap up. It's not that long, and to tell the truth, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I just got off of work, and it's hard for me to go to sleep right when I get off because I work from 4 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. So when I get off at 12:30, I don't be sleepy, and it be so funny because all while I'm working, I'm sleepy. But since I wasn't sleepy, I said, let me go and get this um, video out. Let me go and record this February wrap up because I have so much planned for March, and I'm so excited about March because it's Kidney Disease Awareness Month. So I'm sitting here on the floor in front of my cozy couch. Y'all, I didn't say I wasn't tired. I said I'm not sleepy, but I'm tired. And I'm so tired that I might just, when I stop recording, go ahead and lay on this couch. It's so comfortable. A couple of weeks ago, I just felt like spending the weekend here and there. I spent the night in here, and it was comfortable. It was comfortable being around all my books and all of that. I am sitting by one of my favorite pictures of me and my mama. She actually gave me this. This was one of the last gifts she gave me for my birthday when I turned 32. She always gave sentimental gifts. And we actually got sick that month. And she gave me that picture, so I love it. I love this whole little setup I got here with my inspirational books and all of that. But I come to talk about my February wrap-ups. So I had a lot of February hopefuls. Like, y'all, I wanted to do Black romance, and then I wanted to get into some Black history. I went to the library, and I got like 6 YA Black books. Yeah, I ain't gonna even lie, I took back all those books except for one. Then I ended up didn't even read that one. But I did get 3 more books from, no, 2 more books from the library. And I actually read those. I'm actually finishing up one of those. And then I read, so one of the books is going to be on my February wrap-up list. And then the other one is going to be a continuation going into March. So I tried to be a little, so I can remember some pointers. So I wrote it down this time, y'all. So if I'm looking down, that's why I'm looking down. I'm trying not to look down so much. But so my first, and then 2 of these books I don't have because, like I said, one was a library book, and I don't know why I took that book back to the library, but I took it back before I could make my wrap up. Crazy, huh? But so 2 of these books I don't have. So the first book I don't have, and I listened to it exclusively on Audible. Loved it. It was a book club read. I am in a book club, and we read Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black. That was my first book that I read in February. And y'all, I loved it so much. Just some of the pointers I wrote down was, it's a great reminder to children and young adults, especially millennials. I put that in parentheses, especially millennials, because you see fathers like this, like Jacob, in real life from millennials. So I just said that some fathers were not adequately taught how to be a father. because their father was not either there, or he did not know how to be a father. So they did not know how to properly. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, y'all. They did not know how to properly raise their children, their sons, and their daughters either. So Don't Cry for Me follows Jacob. He is dying, and he is essentially a letter that Jacob is writing to his son Isaac, and he's just kind of telling him about his life and how he grew up and how he wished that he did a lot of things differently when it came to raising him, when it came to accepting him. And it was a beautiful story. It was absolutely beautiful, and I almost cried. It reminded me a lot of my own father, and of course, in Don't Cry for Me, Jacob is dealing with accepting his son because his son is gay. But this book reminded me of my dad and my brother. Of course, my brother, he's not gay, but my dad and my brother has always had a kind of rough relationship in the way that he raised both of us. Really, he was kind of a little lenient on me because I was a girl and because I was sick, but not a lot. And I appreciate him for not being too lenient on me, and where I do have a sense of independence. But in some areas, he was rough, and this just reminded me, and it's reminded me of a lot of stories that I've heard from a lot of African American Black millennials and their experience with their father, if they even had a father. So it made me look at my dad differently. It made me have empathy for him, and I believe it will make a lot of young people have empathy for their fathers. That's with your mother too. Like, you have to remember that, especially if you are the first child or the only child, that your parents essentially, they don't know what they're doing. They are, they are learning as they are trying to teach you, trying to raise you. So this book, what it taught me was to give my dad grace. It taught me about giving grace, and it was so, like, when you think about it, it was biblical too, kind of, because their names is Jacob. The father's name is Jacob. The son name is Isaac. The Jacob had a brother named Esau in the book, and it was just like it was a good book. I gave that book I gave it a 5-star. I gave it a 5-star. It was very it was touching. And some more pointers I put out was poor education, because he talked about how he didn't really have good education, and he had to essentially stop going to school to help with his family. Just talked about, I highlight what really stuck out to me was this toxic relationship, the toxic parent-child relationship, and the toxic mother's husband-wife relationship. And then the misconstrued vision of gender roles as well. So like I said, this was it started off heavy. I started off heavy for February with Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. I do recommend, I recommend that all young men read this, and maybe even sit down and read it with your father as a book club reading or something, I recommend our African American men, young men, read this book. Women too, but men especially. And then the next book that I read, which was a library read, I don't know why I took that book back. And I talked about it in my last vlog. So I ain't gonna talk much on it, but it was Summer on Sag Harbor by Sonny Hostin. That book was so good, and I kept contemplating on getting it because I'm like, it's cold outside. What am I talking about? Why am I getting a summer book? No, that looks like she on the beach. And I first heard about this book from Kayla. On Kayla's Book is Vibe. She's one of my favorites that I watch on YouTube. And she talked about this book last year and talked about it, if you want to read something about the black elites. And I was like, oh, it sounded interesting. And she was talking about a book that if you want to read while sitting on the beach, that would be a good book. And it would be. And I might purchase that book and the second one because and when I go out of town, go on the beach, I might read that. But it's a good book, so it follows. And I thought I thought that was the first one, but actually, this is the one. Summer on Sag Harbor is the second book, and I'm actually reading the first one now. But I don't think you just really got to read them in order, but to understand the characters, then it'll come together if you do read them in order. But so Summer on Sag Harbor is the second book, but I read it first. So it follows Olivia, and she essentially is one of the three sisters who is introduced in the first book. So it did, but this one is following Olivia. Olivia is gifted this vacation home on the beach from her godfather who has passed. He left this home to her, and it essentially just follows her as a dark-skinned woman and having the feelings of being accepted, and trauma from her childhood, trauma from her not knowing. She knew who her father was because her mama talked about her father, but I think her father died when she was young, and so she's dealing with that. She's in an interracial relationship, and this book was so good. It was so good. So I just said it was a beautiful story of black wealth and the legacy that's left behind. Baby, these people was going hard for the legacy in this particular community, and because they had some people trying to migrate in and buy up those houses, and baby, they was going hard. One thing I liked about it was set in 2021. So it was set in the year 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic. So they talked about COVID. They talked about people who was vaccinated and people who wasn't vaccinated. People passed away in the book from COVID. It was kind of like a flashback for me because 2021 was a hard time for me with COVID, being that it's the year that me and my mom caught COVID, and we actually caught it the week of my birthday, my 32nd birthday. We were sick with COVID. I never forget, I was in the bed, hurting from the top of my head to the sole of my feet, literally. And my mom was in the other room. I didn't know she was sicker than me. Essentially, she was, because we ended up having to go to the hospital. We went to separate hospitals. I got better in a week. She ended up being intubated the following week that I got released from the hospital, and she was in the hospital a whole month. and she passed a month and a day after my birthday in September, on September the 7th, 2021. So, in reading this book, did I say the 27th? No, it's September the 7th. I don't know, y'all, I'm sleepy, but anyway, yeah, so it was like really brought a lot of stuff back when reading through about the COVID era, because that was a scary time. But other than that, I really liked the Black culture that was represented in this book. I love the wealth. I love the love story between Garrett and Olivia, because Olivia at first, she was in an interracial relationship with a white man, and yeah, I don't want to spill all the tea, but it was really good. It was a really good book, and I gave that a 4.5 star. And then the other book that I read this month, well, February, was My Accidental Valentine, and I read that on my new Kindle. Yeah, I still haven't named her. I got to name her. But I read My Accidental Valentine, and it was a novella, only 76 pages, but it was a cute little story. It was so cute, y'all. So it followed Marcus, who was a billionaire, and Sarah, who was a social media, what did she do? What do you call it? When you social media manager. So she managed Marcus's social media. He was a billionaire. I like that it was set in a small town, and the small town was Nashville, which is close to me, where I live. So I live in Memphis, so I like that. And so essentially, Sarah, she like a young lady. I think she was in her 20s or early 30s. And anyway, her mama ready for her to get married. Her mama ready to marry her off. Her mama, like any man that looked eligible, her mama trying to hook her daughter up. And my mama probably would have been the same way. But so what she did, her mama made her mad about something. And so Sarah goes to text, and she thinking she texting her best friend, but she gets the numbers mixed up, and she actually texts Marcus, the billionaire. And it goes from there. It was a cute little what they call it, meet cute. It was a really cute little meet cute how they met. She was embarrassed. Of course, they ended up fake dating or whatever, fake proposal. They turned into something real. It turned into real love. I'm searching for a real love. But yeah, it ended up real. So that was good. And because it was 76 pages, and that helped me crack open my Kindle, and I really enjoyed it. But I gave that a 4.5 stars as well. So really, I had a long list of books I wanted to read in February. I don't know why, when February only had 28 days, but I was all for the Black culture and the Black love, and I only really finished 3 books in February. But the books that I'm currently reading are, I picked up Take My Hand. I picked up Take My Hand. And this is pretty good too. I like that it is, I'm only like on chapter 2, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all, Summer on Sag Harbor, it had my attention. And then when I got done with that, I had to go ahead on and pick up Summer on the Bluffs. And I'm like on chapter 19 with this one. And so this one is actually number 1 because this introduces Olivia and her 2 sisters. Well, they're not like really her sisters, they're like her god sisters. And it introduces Olivia, Perry, and what's the other sister name? Billy. Billy is the baby sister. It introduces those 3 girls, and then it introduces their godparents. So their godparents are the rich, you know, they are wealthy. Their godmom, Amelia, she comes from, she was born in New Orleans, but she became this big time, what is she? She was the first black woman on Wall Street, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But she was wealthy. Amelia was wealthy. Her husband, Omar, was wealthy. They never had kids, though. But they loved kids. And they kind of, you know, latched on to Olivia, Perry, and Billy. All 3 sisters, all 3 different ages, from all 3 walks of lives. And it just follows them. Yeah, but this is so good. They're where I'm at now. So it's really following their godmother, Amelia, and her life and how she's getting through grief from her husband, Omar. And yeah, after reading the scene that I read today, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to stop reading romance for a minute. I'm gonna have to not have romance on my list for this month, for March, because sometimes romance be getting too like unrealistic. So I don't know if I'm spoiling. If I am, sorry. Pass through this part. But Amelia, like I said, she's grieving over her husband, who he's at this point been gone 4 years. He's been deceased 4 years. So she decides to go out to eat by herself one night at a restaurant in New York. And while she's eating, in walks one of her old flames, someone that she met, someone who she was dating before she met her husband. And he could have been the love of her life because she loved him as well. So they sitting at the table catching up. They go to talking about, you know, the last time they were together and all of this and that. And he goes on to tell her about how, you know, last time that we was together, I wanted to propose to you, but I was scared because I wasn't established and I didn't want to struggle and have you struggling too because I loved you. All this and that. And then all of a sudden, the man gets down on his knees, smack dab in the middle of the side, in the restaurant, and proposes to this lady. Mind you, this is their first time seeing each other after years. And when I say years, had to be at least 33 years because that's how many years her and her husband were married before he passed. Yeah, I said, And I'm sitting up there, oh, see, stuff like that I have you, like wondering where my love story is. Granted, I don't want any of my exes to magically appear and propose to me because no, sir. No, thank you. But I'm just saying, like I said, after this, I'm not going to be able to do the love story. But I know that this is not all about love. But that was just so, like, funny to me. But this is good. This is really good. And I'm on chapter 19. I'm immersively reading this as well. I have found out that I like that. I like reading the book and listening to the book. So that's what I'm doing. And on chapter 19. And on my Kindle, I am reading Love by You. And who's this by? This is a new author. This is a debut book. I think her book came out recently. But it's called Love by You. I'm still trying to work this book, yeah. Work my Kindle. I'm trying to get to the cover. Oh, I don't know what I did either. I don't know. But I'm going to put it on the screen so y'all can see who the author is and everything. But Love by You is, what did I do? Oh, yeah. That's what I be talking about. I gotta learn how to work my stuff good. But yeah, that's what I'm reading on my Kindle right now. And I'm almost finished with Summer on the Bluffs. When I get done with that, I'm gonna probably come back. I am gonna come back with the rest of my March hopefuls. And like I said, I'm very excited about this month. I'm excited about taking you all on the journey that I go on each March, because it is Kidney Disease Awareness Month. And I do it a little different each year. So that's my February wrap up. Let me know what y'all read in February. Did y'all read any of the books that I read? Talk to me and let me know. Did you like my little vlog that I did? Day in the life of, and would you like for me to do more videos like that? Yeah, so I'm gonna go because like I said, it's probably well over 2 o'clock. Yes, it is 2:11 in the morning. I'm kind of getting sleepy, so I'm gonna get off of here. Just want to come show y'all my February wrap up. I'll see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all later.